Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Scion Broken World Chronicle. I'm the Rebnos Archon. I will be your storyteller this evening. Last we left off, we opened up with our Scion of Thoth arriving in Denver, and we got to see him head towards a burger joint that was completely subtle as to the signs of fate pointing him in that direction. And we got to see a little exchange between a messenger of his divine parent and himself, and then we got to see him meet Summerfield and Ajax, who are lovely individuals and should be in every episode. But they brought him up to speed about the Minotaur and the bolt of Zeus that was stolen. They made some estimates about the prophecy and possible attachments to like the Rockies or sirens, and how difficult it would be for them to be in a landlocked state, a landmass. But Nico also showed him the basilisk fang that they found, and how it had a little bit of fate binding attached to it, as well as a relief of Hercules fighting the Nemean lion. They received an alert to stay out of Aurora, a citywide alert, because there were some terrorists holed up in a animal theater, and they learned that the trio that had taken over the theater, the Animal Draft House, was calling themselves the Denver Minotaurs, a small cult that was a little bit too on the nose to ignore. They drove out. They got to see a madman with a bull helmet rampaging and breaking police officers with his mighty boot stomps. Between Nico and Detective Blackwood, though, they made short work of the two henchmen that he had. And Rutherford's zombies came out and actually held down the rampaging Minotaur enough to take his helmet away and all of his powers as such. But they did their best. They found some of the remnants of different body parts, organs that had been sacrificed from 5 different adults to summon something in the theater. And then they found that there was a kukri knife that had little blood flutes in it to help with bleeding a target. But we left off with all of them going their separate ways, picking up their cars and separating. And we're going to pick up a few days later as everybody's kind of gotten a chance to get some information on your end. Kind of ask around.
Well, I just have a quick question.
Shoot.
I don't suppose that my name appeared in any, or my company appeared in any news coverage of the incident?
They did. They didn't.
Excellent.
They weren't the point of the story, but they were visible.
Is that enough for me to utilize my Ren Harvest?
It is. It is.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Sure.
Let's see. Charisma plus empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, empathy.
Who has that?
And that is 3 successes on my new dice.
Ooh, difficulty 7.
Yep, 3 points of legend back.
Remember, you can't go above your max.
Incorrect. But I spent a whole bunch during that exchange, so...
You're right. But we'll start with Diego. Asking around and kind of keeping your ear open. You will find that some of your regulars of the Mexican persuasion have been mentioning staying away from Boulder recently. One pair of gentlemen in particular that were drinking at the bar where you were barbacking mentioned that they had rented out a cabin for the weekend, and they had to reschedule their trip, which ended up costing them a pretty penny, so they were upset about it.
Oh man, it's a shame. You know, I went on me. Rough.
Hey, thank you, man. Means a lot. Times are tough, you know.
Times are tough. They want to go out there too.
Oh,
Guess
no. No, don't go out there now. Things are bad up there.
Gotta be a little bolder to go to Boulder.
Oh, no. Not right now. Maybe in the summer. Yeah.
Summer does sound nice.
Yeah, no. Right now you don't want to go up there. And the other one kind of like slaps him with the back of his hand. I'm gonna go take a piece. Don't scare the young man, okay? And the other guy, like, he shrugs and just takes another sip of his drink.
Yeah. That's how things are. Polishes off a glass. I figured to myself, like, maybe I'll probably check that out sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
But I don't want to worry like a patron, so I'm just like kind of doing work.
And he'll look around for a moment before turning back to you, like, where you from, Socio?
I was we were all around, but I think spent a lot of time in Phoenix.
New Mexico.
Yeah, pretty new.
Is it nice?
It's okay. Kind of a little quieter than here.
That must be really quiet then.
Yeah. Pretty quiet. I think last guy who came in here was telling me, I'm so happy. I feel like I live off the grid. It's a wild notion.
Off the grid. I couldn't do that. Man, that's not me.
Yeah, we're too connected.
Yeah, man. You go up to Boulder regularly?
No, I haven't been in months, but maybe maybe I'll have to get out there sometime. The summer.
Yeah, wait for the summer, because right now things are bad up there. And again, he looks around like he's about to tell you a secret. He goes, some of my primos, they came back last week. One of them said he heard La Llorona up there.
Oh, oof. Yeah. Crying noises in the night, probably pretty scary.
Crying noises. This is like bloody murder, screaming. It's terrible, man.
Just like generally, were you guys in Boulder? Where did you hear it?
Up over.
Stay away from it, of course.
Yeah. I mean, stay away from the whole city just in case. Pero up by that lake that's up there. I mean, he whips out a phone, and after a couple seconds of Granby, Lake Granby.
Well, if I hear anyone, going in that direction, I'll discourage it.
Yeah.
Maybe save them an Airbnb fee.
For real, man. He's crazy. $600 to change the dates.
That's how they get you.
And his friend comes back and sits down. They continue talking about the Colorado Rockies and what they're going to be doing this next season. And as they're talking to each other, we'll shift over to Nico. It's been a couple days, and Ajax and Summerfield have become staples of your life.
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, Ajax is Ajax, but Summerfield is pleasant. And
I don't know. You might like it the other way around. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway.
But during one of your little writing sessions or jams with your band, Ajax will come in kind of clear everybody out, take a break, and he'll put down just a file folder on the desk on the little coffee table, and open it up, and you'll just see these. Lewd is not the word for it. It is almost pornographic pictures of women from the waist up, naked, piercings, tattoos, the whole thing. And he's got this.
What's this?
Oh, this is hey, this is what we're gonna be looking at right now. You and me. Maybe Summerfield if he plays his cards right and he behaves, but this is us right now.
What?
Oh, yeah, no, I know what it looks like. I know what this looks like. Believe me, no, this isn't what this looks like. And he pulls out a second file
Start
folder.
from maybe the beginning.
Right. So, sorry, I had the wrong file folder, and he kind of almost winks at you, and he pulls out a second one, and it's what looks to be the bottom half of each of these women, but they're bird legs. And he's like, I think this one goes with this one, and I think this one goes over here with this one. It's
okay,
like,
why are we playing puzzles? What is this?
Yeah. So Hera wants it, since they're in the area. She wanted you to kind of take your band and figure out what's going on with these harpies. Somebody let them loose.
Harpies now.
It's like a coven of them,
What?
you know.
Wait.
Maybe like 8 of them, a dozen at most, you know.
At most.
At most, yeah.
Mm.
They're harpies. What good are they gonna do? You took out a guy with a bullhead.
No, it's not that. We heard something about singing. Something. There was something.
Oh.
So yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I want to hear harpies singing. I mean, they sound
No, you don't.
like screeching. They make you and your band sound good. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
I'm just saying. You don't know if these harpies can sing or not. You're assuming and assumptions.
Well, they use singing to trap people, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if they want to sing to me, I'll let myself be trapped. Hey.
No, you don't.
And he'll pull like one picture to the side, like especially if that one's singing. Hoo.
Ajax.
Right, yeah. No. So Hera said that the head of this coven is a priestess, calls herself Treum.
Fayum.
Treum.
Okay.
I don't know. And he'll write it out for you. It's Treaum.
Okay.
It sounds French. Might be Treem. But they're a cult of Mnemosyne.
Another cult. Interesting.
I mean, it's a coven of witches, so that's technically a cult. Technically.
So, are the coven the harpies?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know which one of these is Troom, whatever her fucking name is. But,
How'd we get the pictures?
well, Summerfield and I took a field trip up to Boulder, and we tested out a new Nikon that was on the market. Reconnaissance is the word.
Yeah. And full frontals is what you were going for.
I mean, I tried to get the faces,
Yeah, that's faces. Yeah.
I mean, I tried. keyword there is tried.
Yeah. All right. So where is this?
Up in Boulder, that kind of area.
Okay.
You want me to call
Well,
Summerfield
you
so you
should know
can...
where exactly since you were taking pictures.
Well, I mean, we were taking pictures in one area, but if you know your mythology, you know that harpies have wings and therefore they can fly. So who knows where the fuck they are right now?
All right. So where did you take the pictures?
Oh, outside of Boulder, between Boulder and Lake Hornsby, or Lake Granby, Lake something B.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great reconnaissance.
Hey, my goal was to take pictures of the coven, and he just kind of like moves his hand. I have taken pictures of the coven, and he starts to collect them. I'm going to familiarize myself with all of their faces, so
I'm sure you are.
I will let Summerfield know
Well,
that if you need
I
a
would
ride,
like a copy of the actual faces
right?
so I can show them to my band.
Okay, sure. I'll get that to you as soon
Nice
as I'm
tats, though.
done.
Anyway,
And he kind of trots out. And we will shift over to Rutherford. In the few days between you and Kaz, you have found different stories correlating to the myths of the Minotaur. Chief among them are obviously the story of the labyrinth that was made to contain it, and the story of Theseus slaying it. Different stories will have different angles, like how Zeus or Aphrodite helped Minos' wife bed the bull in question, which was like the prized white bull that Minos begged Poseidon for. So there's a whole slew of gods involved in this.
I take some time and lay the different stories, books I found them in, kind of on this large truncheon table.
Okay.
And I just kind of haphazardly begin kind of flipping pages, and I'm looking for a correlation, maybe a commonality between all of the stories that might give us a little bit more insight into our current predicament on where to find the creature potentially.
Okay.
Cross-referenced over modern Colorado atlases, histories of the region, things like that.
Okay. You will find that the one story that kind of sticks out the most is that there's always a sacrifice, something to appease the rage of this monster. Most stories point to couples. Some point to like 6, 3 men, 3 women. The most kind of hover around 14. Which is kind of what leads people to kind of assume that St. Valentine's Day is on the 14th. But the sacrifice was made every 9 years. And cross-checking with events of 2009, the big one in Colorado was that Obama signed a big act in Denver. But there's also a couple of animals, creatures that were released from a habitat in outside of London. Then among the list of creatures that were found missing when people came to do a kind of inventory was a basilisk.
Thanks, Obama. All right.
Way to go,
Well,
Obama.
I mean, it's good information to have, but I don't see it being terribly relevant regarding pinpointing the creature's location at present. I will still have it typed up into a... He actually has Kaz draw up a PowerPoint of all of the relevant information, and I'll... did I get the detective's email card?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah, of course.
I'm assuming the detective's email is on the card, as it so often is with police cards.
Sure.
I email along with the PowerPoint. I detach it as a file. Here's all the relevant information that I could dig up on the current situation with the Minotaur. I have included maps, passages, scans of the original books that these were found in case you wish to peruse them for yourself. I'm afraid that this is the limit of what I've been able to uncover.
Kaz has also set up 2 of the whiteboards, the blackboards that you have in the back, as conspiracy boards.
Yep.
And so they're set up in like a 90-degree angle with thread kind of going from one side to the other. There's a picture of Ajax and Summerfield, with each one named, and the eyes of Ajax have been X'd out.
My personal thoughts on each of the subjects is recorded in a post-it note nearby the picture. So,
What does it say? What does it say for both of them?
Ajax is listed as being largely irrelevant and a relic of a bygone time whose essence would be better put to other use. Summerfield, reasonable chap, pleasant to talk to. I wish that this weren't a duo act.
But they've already added the pertinent information, like the Obama thing is a small clipping off to the side. There's a post-it note with a question mark on it, but the habitat with the missing basilisk does kind of have a circle on it. And there's a crude drawing of the dagger that Nico had on a post-it note just on top of that.
Yes, I had surmised the 2 events were linked.
Yes.
Very well, I have a few videos to catch up on, and I have sent my information along, so if I'm required, I'm sure they will reach out to me.
Of course. And you see that they go over and they pop in a DVD of Clash of the Titans, the original 1970s version.
Oh, this is Somerset and Ajax that are here for this?
No, this is Kaz.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is Kaz.
Let's say if they thought they were going to watch a movie in my place of business, they would be sadly mistaken. Kaz, however, is allowed to watch films in the store.
And even when you look at them, they smile at you like for research purposes.
Understandable. Please have fun. Greeks are certainly an interesting group.
And they nod. And as you leave them to watch, and you hear the little kind of chirping of Bilbo, the mechanical owl, we'll shift over to Detective Blackwood's desk. It's been a few days, and nobody has any leads on the fire. You see the police car with the cruiser with the gentleman that was wearing the bovine helmet that had started crying when he was arrested never made it to the police department. It was found off of the 525 on fire. 3 bodies were inside, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. the dental work has come back that the two in front were in fact the police officers that were trusted with the gentleman's detainment, and the one passenger in the back has come back with the pertinent information that all match the gentleman that was arrested. Relative unknown, kind of kept his nose down, was a member of a youth group with a outreach program in the church. So this outburst of violence is not something that could have been foretold.
Nice. She'll put all that into her report as well as the pertinent information that the cops would want to know.
Yeah, the
Of what
pictures
she found in the other place.
the pictures that you find that are given to you about the car fire, because some of the people knew you were trying to attach the two stories together to what happened at Red Rocks and the Animal Theater. The car looks like a burnt out husk, except for there is a gash, is the best word, in the center of the hood. Like a giant axe cleaved this engine in twain.
Gee, I don't know who has an axe that could do that.
I don't know. So many mythological people have axes. It'd be hard to narrow it down.
Well, being that I'm dealing with the son of
Loki.
Ares and the son of Loki,
Yep.
that's not far to jump into.
Sure.
God of War and the God of Mischief. With a big axe cleaving that thing.
With Loki, a giant axe wouldn't be too hard to pin to him because of his connection to the Jotuns, the giants, especially the frost giants. But the fire is not something a frost giant could call upon.
No, that's it.
Or would
That's
want
the son
to
of Ares.
call upon.
That's valid. Okay. Yeah. And then I'm assuming I've gotten the email from the 4th.
The 4th, yes. What is your occult? Do you have any occult?
Currently 0, but we're rectifying that after this game.
Oh my god. Make an intelligence check then.
Happy to teach.
Since you don't have
Make an
a cult.
intelligence check?
Yeah, just a flat intelligence check.
Thank God I'm an intelligence of 4.
Yeah, that saved you a little bit.
What's my diff?
7. That's the standard difficulty for Scion.
Beauty. That's 2 successes.
Okay. Thinking back and trying to piece the axe to Loki or Ares, Ares is starting to look much more like the culprit here, but you do remember one of Loki's purviews is fire.
Okay. Well, I'd say that the Loki would set it on fire after Ares turned around and cleaved it in half.
Possible.
Who would say they're not working in tandem? Okay. And then I'll get the 4th email, and then I'll start reading that to see what I can figure out.
Yeah. But there's a lot of threading going on. When was it that you guys set up to meet up again? or are you in the middle
We
of setting? Okay.
I do not believe we had established a regular meeting time, or I think
I do
most of
think
us
we
just left it as.
credentials, though. We did.
Yep. You did get each other's information, so.
Yeah.
Given that you had a couple of days, would it be out of the norm to assume that you guys would have set up a meeting?
I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. I'm just confused as to where, because any suggestion that could be made would probably be met with different reactions based on who suggested it. Like I'm not going to a dive bar.
I mean,
And-
your shop is the best suited to hold these soirees.
And I will I will invite everyone to come use the conference room that we have.
I heard some grumbling.
Sounds good to me. It's kind of like a Buffy situation.
Right?
But who's Buffy?
Oh, it's a great show. You should check it out.
No. I mean, which one of us is Buffy? We all know the fourth is Niles or
Yeah,
Giles. Sorry.
Giles. 100%.
He's Giles.
Yeah.
I am the Giles of this
He
group,
is-
and
he is
I wear
Velma.
that with a badge of honor.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
Velma.
Jinkies.
100%.
Is
But
there
we'll say,
anything else that I
Yep.
would have gotten from any of the other reports? Or are they all just completely...
the reports about the Alamo Draft House have that the weapons that were found on these people were unregistered. Big surprise there. But they weren't bought anywhere in state. Their serial numbers don't trace back to any store in the United States. In fact, and cross-referencing it will lead you to Canada. Ottawa
They were
in
both in
particular.
Canada for this.
Mm-hmm. Ottawa in particular.
Oh, that's a cry from Denver.
Mm-hmm. The metallurgical tests on the kukri came back inconclusive. They're excited to hand that off to the Denver Academy of Science.
Okay. Anything about Red Rock? Any new developments from Red Rock?
Nothing. They're actually nudging you to close the case as just a freak act of nature. There's nothing out there to prove that somebody's calling down lightning bolts, and there's nothing to say that these people weren't just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
She would close that case so that people don't start sniffing around with it.
Okay.
She'll use her own notes on that.
Sure.
That's a question I have. Do people know that there are beings like us or not? How well known, I mean, this stuff.
There are stories in the papers or in the news of, acts of heroism, a mother lifting the car to save her child, things like that. They're not attributed to gods amongst men. And most of the demigods that are running around are doing things in terra incognita. Like they're doing things in the between worlds. The heroes that are running around are trying to keep a low profile.
Okay.
Yeah, outside of Mr. Glass, I don't think anyone's picked up on it yet.
Yeah. Exactly. Like there are conspiracy theorists out there who are just like, look at this, and it's some guy holding onto a helicopter. But the rest of the picture shows him holding a boat with his legs. The boat is actually like tipped up out of the water. So, but they're met with, ludicrous ideas of photoshopping and things like that. The world is advanced enough that a lot can be explained with photoshopping, camera trickery, things like that.
Would it be possible if, when Caitlin goes home, to write a report and send it to her father to give him an update of what's going on, at least?
Yeah, talking about Heimdall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, the divine parent.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Easy enough.
Because all of this looks like they're working in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
And in case we have to call the parents or the big guns per se, at least Heimdall knows what's going on or what progress is being made.
Yep. Yeah. And there are, kind of reaching out and having a good relationship with your divine parent does give you some information whenever you ask for it. And so you'll know that there's a hero of Thor, there's a scion of Thor, and there's a scion of Odin that are running around the West Coast. So worst case scenario, you have either of them to call upon. A message can be relayed. There's a couple scions of Frigg on the East Coast. Hell has a scion somewhere in Chicago.
When she sends her report, she'll send him a box of Rocky Mountain chocolate, which she knows is one of his favorites.
Okay.
Just kind of like a, hey, missed you, didn't get to talk to you when I got this. Here's the information so far, and I know you like these chocolates. Enjoy. Love, Cat.
Okay. But we can jump to everybody meeting up because I don't think there's anything more important between the interim.
So for a quick rundown of what the conference room looks like, it looks a lot like Top Dollar's lair from The Crow.
Okay.
It's same vaulted warehouse ceilings, big table, except there's a couple blackboards just with various notes scrawled on them. And throughout the entire room are different artifacts, very old books in glass cases, illuminated manuscripts, statuary from the ancient world, a couple weapons here and there from the Renaissance. But it's very well appointed. This is usually where he shows stuff off to potential clients. So
Okay. Yeah, and Kaz will have both American coffee, espresso, and tea ready.
Yeah.
As you desire it, you guys will come to the shop. And Kaz will bring you to the back the moment you've arrived. There's no waiting for you guys.
Kaz.
Is Nico bringing Ajax or Summerfield?
Did she get the pictures that she asked for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
all of them have a rating from 1 to 10 on the back that Ajax has put as far as quote unquote bangability.
Objectification? Come on.
From a satyr? Ooh.
Yeah, I know. One of these days we're going to get it through your head. Both of them.
Summerfield is decent.
Yeah. Yeah, she will, because they're probably going to have questions more than she had.
Yeah. Which one are you taking? Or are you taking both?
Mm. Summerfield will probably give the best information.
Okay. Ajax has no qualms about staying home. Yeah. He does not like Rutherford.
Loves him.
I shut him up our first meeting.
Yeah.
The highlight of my character's life.
Yeah. Kaz will show you and Summerfield to the back.
Please, everyone, have a seat. I have what information that I've been able to come up with, made printouts for all of you. You can peruse
has
them at
them
your
out.
leisure. Yes.
Yeah. Nico leans back, puts her feet up on the table.
I put some espresso in some coffee and then go to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets her notebook out.
Yep. And Kaz does have legal pads that they have laid out at the center of the table and pens. Easy to reach for everybody.
Cat will take one and pen because, hey, more shit to write on.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Kaz does stay at the door unless like paperwork is needed or to be dispensed or things like that.
I'll have Kaz work because we're doing this. I mean, technically, my business hours are all day, and they're client based. So
Mhm.
I'll have Kaz work her station at the phones and everything. And I'll have, if we need servants, I have a small cadre of them that are shuffling about and smell of saffron and jasmine.
I mean, Kaz did block out an entire hour for this to happen. So
Oh, all right. Well, I didn't know that she already blocked it out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they can stay. So
they're probably the one that set up the meeting, so they took advantage. I'm like, I'm just gonna block out an hour where I don't have to worry about anything.
well then, I've presented my findings on the Minotaur and the situation therein. I believe last we spoke, I also gave my opinion regarding where we could find them, perhaps an underground cave network out near the Boulder area. Other than
Oh,
that, I
Boulder.
have no.
Hey, there's a thing.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, and she throws down the folder of pictures. The ones with just the faces.
Yeah, just female faces, like 8 of them.
Oh, well, that's what that is. My patrons described it as hearing the weeping women.
Yeah, that could fit. They're harpies.
Did you get
And
Lake Granby?
Harpies?
Why do we care about harpies?
Well, they are a coven, evidently, and they're doing stuff. And it's in the Boulder area.
Yes, and the impact on our current investigation is what again? I'm just trying to see the tactical advantage and the
Well,
resources.
wasn't there something about singing at one of the places or something? I can't recall. And I don't take notes like you do.
I don't take notes, I just remember everything. Does my eidetic memory pull anything up for this? Because Ben's bad at this stuff, so he played a character that remembers things.
Yeah, there is the second stanza of the rhyming couplets is the wind blows cold, a siren's call, hear now the dead man's wail.
Yeah, it's in the poem.
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to expend the resources to wipe out a coven of harpies.
Wait a minute. I thought sirens were the mermaid chicks that swam in the ocean and sang to bring sailors to their deaths.
Well, that would be a
Done.
siren. The harpies are the half-bird, half-woman creatures of Greek myth.
Sing
I
too
mean,
and lower people.
I may or may not have played a couple of video games that had harpies in it, but I thought the sirens were sirens. That I didn't know that they could fly.
Well, they're two different things. But
Right. So I thought a siren was the fish women.
Yes, I see what you're saying. The couplet specifically mentions sirens, not harpies, and so
Exactly.
that was
But
my thinking
translation?
as well.
Because they both use music.
I just feel that if we're going to commit a wholesale slaughter on a group of mythological creatures, we should at least make sure that we're doing it for a correct reason.
Rutherford,
Wait,
what else do
who
we
said
know?
we were killing people?
I assumed that's what you're all being brought in to do, is eliminate this threat.
No. I
Murdering
haven't.
people?
This is the first time I've heard about anything in Boulder. So, no. I was working on the fire with our guy that got arrested, who then got killed.
Interesting. How did he die?
Burnt. Charred. It seems like somebody split the engine in half with an axe and then lit the inside the cop car on fire. We had 2 down officers and the guy that we were arresting, they were unfortunately reduced to almost ash. We were lucky we got dental records. The
In
weird
other words,
part
you
about
never
all
got
this,
to talk to him.
yes. However, the weird thing is even though I didn't talk to him, I got to research him. He's pretty much a no one. He was a church volunteer, not very violent at all. So this whole all of a sudden turning into a violent asshole, well, that's odd.
I mean,
Cult
is it
influence,
is it a
brainwashing,
Like
sort of
programming.
that. I don't know if it's a
A
quick
bull mask?
onset. Yeah, that was a quick onset. I mean, I may not be a psychologist, but I've arrested a few number of violent assholes, and he doesn't fit the bill.
Diego, you were
Or-
about to say something.
No, I mean our artifacts affect mortals. Like, how quickly do our artifacts affect mortals? Like, what do I know about that?
Depends on the artifact and the god in question.
Yeah.
Some are seductive in an enhanced speed, and some are nefarious and slow. Playing
Would
the
a
long
bull's
con.
head like immediately enable bull's rage? Like, would it turn like a
Yeah,
common man?
the animal itself does not have subtlety, and so it would not be a artifact that would play the long con. Its power would probably be invested and used immediately.
Sometimes mortals are bent easily to the things of our world.
Yeah, well, you want to know the bigger thing of it all? Trace the guns. Not even an American made. Up in Canada, Ottawa. And the cookery, they came back as the metal is inconclusive.
And
I don't
where
mind
has that been sent?
Storyteller.
The Denver Academy of Science.
Thank you. The Denver Academy of Science.
I look over at Kaz and kind of give a nod.
I have a feeling that's going to be lifted soon.
Yeah, they're already texting.
Okay, I'm going to play dumb and I don't know anything about it.
I'm not going to steal it if that's what you're insinuating. I don't.
I'm not
steal.
saying I'm not insinuating you're going
I'm
to
saying that
steal
for
it.
a reasonable donation, they may be willing to allow an independent researcher to hold on to it for an extended period of time.
Like I said, I wasn't insinuating you were stealing.
Does sound like taking the extra steps.
I have a feeling it was more of he's just going to wave money around and say, please gimme. And they will say yes, because you paid money.
It is the great equalizer, the only thing more powerful than myth.
which we absolutely know nothing about.
Well, then we should come up with some sort of agenda. We should figure out some strategy because as of right now, we're simply sitting in place and waiting for things to happen, which I
Well,
have no particular aversion to. It's certainly safer than going out, but I imagine our progenitors want some kind of actionable items to be taken.
no, well, I've already closed the Red Rock case, and I've already informed my dad about what's going on. I've already given him a detailed update.
So, Rutherford, why
Mm.
were you guys checking out the harpies?
I wasn't.
Oh, sorry.
I was looking
Not
into the
Rutherford.
Minotaur.
What's his name?
Summerfield.
Summerfield. Sorry. Summerfield.
He just looks up from
Why
his
were
cup
you
of coffee.
looking into the heart? What?
Excuse me? What? Sorry, I was enjoying this marvelous cup of coffee.
Participate or
Why
leave?
did you and Ajax go check out the harpies?
We were told by Hera to investigate the harpies since they were released about a week ago.
Released.
Yes.
You got any more about that?
But the only thing that I know of is that the chains and manacles that were used to keep the harpies were forged by Hephaestus, so the only way to open that would be with his key or with a thunderbolt from Zeus.
There we go. There's the connection.
And who was in charge of guarding these harpies?
Someone in the realm of Hades, I would imagine. They were sent to Tartarus after all. The gods do
Why?
not, because the gods do not like that they were a cult of Mnemosyne. She was a titan after all, so
What?
Oh.
Who the fuck is that?
he takes a big
Mom
swig
and
of his,
dads of the gods.
he takes a big swig of his coffee and he stands up very proudly like he's about to educate you. He thinks,
That's
well,
fine.
one of my favorite stories of Mnemosyne is how she invaded the dreams of several soldiers and forced them to die because of their horrid nightmares. The woman is the aunt of Zeus, and therefore she is quite menacing, but she controls dreams and thoughts and memories. And it is believed that the cult that worships her has been gifted some of that ability.
And this is tied into the whole Thunderbolt thing, or Zeus's bolt thing, correct?
100%.
So what? This is just more distractions so that we can't find the bolt and the two assholes that stole it.
That I can't
Maybe
say.
it'll lead us to something.
Like I said, side quest.
Got anything better to do?
I'm a cop. Yes.
Old guy was just saying that we should go do something. If you guys don't have anything else to do,
I mean, maybe the favor of Hera is worth something. Maybe not.
It would
What?
behoove you to check and see if perhaps this thunderbolt was used to release other creatures, since now there's the Minotaur and the harpies that were released.
Well, this is all Greek, literally. What other crazy ass things do y'all have locked up that we may or may not
lots
have to
of
look up?
things.
Now, the basilisk was
You know.
let go some time ago, and I suspect it has since been turned into the artifact that you currently carry.
Mm.
You know, I'm thinking about this prophecy, and I remember the earth doth shake and mountains fall. We were shaken and fallen in, like we were shook and fallen into a hole. And now, you know, if those lines came up, the gods do love their tales. The winds blow cold, the siren calls. Hear now a dead man's wail. That seems like the now of maybe the harpies. You know, I read ahead just because, you know, you want to know what prophecy has in store for you. The flames reach out like pointed claws, so I hope harpies don't light us on fire, but you know, we should check it out.
Well, if the cult of Mnemosyne gives
And
dreamlike control, I imagine we might be able to research if any of the local health organizations have some kind of uptake in people with nightmares or other bouts of mental illness that would allow us to maybe pinpoint the area around Boulder that they're currently residing.
Evidently it's up at Lake, what was it?
Lake Granby.
Yeah, Lake Granby.
I mean,
And
is it possible we can
And-
find out anything about the people who freed the harpies from the harpies? It's a cult, right? A coven.
well, we could interrogate them.
Nicely.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just bring them some of your coffee.
It's pretty good.
Coffee is delicious.
This
And
is the way you have it.
Summerfield does slurp loudly.
No sugar, no cream, just coffee.
Yes, the blend is South American. It's some of my favorite.
Well, I know one place I don't want to be. On Hera's bad side. If she asked us to look into this,
Wait. She asked
Well,
us, as in all of us, or did she ask you?
asked you to ask us, I would assume. Hera has no control over me.
fair. But you still don't want her on your bad side.
It even would sound like you're asking us for a favor.
Oh, don't even.
And I know that when I want something, I'm inclined to use basic etiquette. So I would go as far as to say, Nico, if you would like our help, a simple please might go a long way. Use your words.
Oh, don't. She takes one of the pads, pulls off a piece of paper, and throws it at him.
Does it say please on the paper?
No.
Then he calmly just tosses it into the wastebasket.
You know he's going to ask you to do it.
Yeah, he can ask. He could be not so condescending, too.
And
I don't
you
think
could
it's
be
him with his
more
makeup.
free with basic etiquette. You like to put your boots on my table without so much as a how do you do, completely disrespecting my space. So I figured the least you could do would be to ask us politely to help you.
So, old guy and other friends. Will you fucking please help me?
Oh, I was going to help already. I was just watching this.
I'm entertained. I don't get this kind of drama at the police department, so I mean, hi.
You know, I figured you would.
Well, not
no,
a sweeping
really.
victory. I acknowledge that a battle has been fought and won this day. Very well.
Hey, just look at it. Lucky he didn't bring his mommy into this.
Which
His
one?
mummy?
I have 6.
Like I said, exactly.
How far is Lake Granby from like our current area, like Boulder? In general?
It's at least an hour,
Yeah.
closer to an hour and a half away.
I hand like Rutherford some gas money. I'm like, hey man, I know you're driving us around, so I appreciate it because taking a bus upstate is just up a mountain or any hillside outside of town is just difficult.
Appreciate the offer. He takes the money. Though he has no need for it, he understands the gesture.
It's just what we do.
It is.
And Kaz is kind of
There's nothing heavier than a favor owed.
Kaz puts their hand on the door. Shall I get the off-roader prepared then?
Yes. I believe it might behoove us to have one or two of the staff ready to go. Very well then.
I don't have to look all detective-like, do I?
Not unless you plan on exerting your constabulary authority.
Which is nothing in a lake.
Yes,
Or outside Denver.
Yup. Oh, when we go to lake? Oh, 110% we're outside Denver.
Yes, I believe the only authority the lake might recognize is Aquaman.
There's
I
that woman
mean-
who gives. There's that woman who gives out swords and decides who's king.
That Moisten Bink, she's still around?
Well, not here.
You know I had to. You know I had
Different
to.
pantheon.
Yep.
Anyway,
But Kaz will load up the car. There's a cooler with drinks. There's another cooler with like sandwiches and Lunchables. But they drive you off, and you
Will our
Yep.
satyr friend be accompanying us?
and
well, he knows where they were.
Summerfield kind of like I can direct you to where we last saw them if you'd like.
It would certainly save time.
All right. And he looks up at Nico and he's like, I dread to leave Ajax on his own, but sacrifices must be made, I guess.
Oh, come on.
Nick's
I'm
will
sure
keep
he
him in
can.
line. Anyway,
Love that expression.
I'm sure he can find his way around something.
so earplugs might be a thing.
Yeah, I've got that. Does anyone need extras?
Sure, I appreciate. I don't have anything on me.
She'll pull out her bag and pull out a set and hand him over.
It'll be amazing if you get back and there's bigger ponds.
I'm a
because
fan
we
of the classics, and I grab
Oh.
some sealing wax before we leave.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Nico's got some from playing loud music.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, you drive off, and a couple hours later you pull into Boulder, and Summerfield kind of plops himself up on Nico's legs so that he can peer up over the back seat and just kind of point out where to go, where to turn. And you'll see that there is a campground that has a closed sign on it for winter renovations. Yeah.
Fitting, likely, and somehow ominous at the same time.
Yeah. And so Kaz has to find a place to park outside of there. But you'll see that Summerfield suddenly has like a little parka with a furry hood that he didn't have before. And he just kind of pops out, lands on the snow. You'll hear that crunch as his hoofs sink down into it. Very well. If you'll follow me.
What time of day is it when we arrive?
When you arrive, it's probably around 3 p.m.
If we wait for nightfall, I can try to survey the environs.
No.
it's also going to get really cold.
And Summerfield kind of looks up and is like, I'm fine, and plops back and just starts doing his snow angels.
Do we want to approach during the day, or do we want to approach in the evening?
Well, where were they?
Go
To
get
Summerfield.
those.
And he kind of like leans up on his elbows and he points in direction. They were off that way, deep into the mountain.
So it was inside a cave?
No, they were outside.
Mm.
They were bathing themselves, if you must know.
So are their powers more potent during the day or night?
Couldn't tell you.
The myths don't make mention of their preferred cycle. However, most predators tend to hunt nocturnally. And these
Yeah.
are at their hearts predatory creatures.
So why don't we do it at dusk? Give them a hard time to see us.
If they hunt at night, isn't that the case?
Well, if they're nocturnal and we're finding them at dusk, that gives us an advantage. They're blind.
And
In theory.
given the powers their progenitor, or rather the cult that they follow, would give them, I could see them starting a hunt off with influencing the dreams and disrupting the pattern of the cattle before they hunt. So it stands to reason that early evening they might be enacting rites or otherwise. They probably wouldn't leave until well after dark.
Yeah, we'll check her phone when sunset is.
It's gonna be around 6:54.
Everybody prepared in the event that violence breaks out.
Always.
Up.
Nico reaches in, pulls out gun. Always.
Gun.
I make sure 2 of my staff are already out of the jar.
Yep. Use your legend point.
Yep.
Why wouldn't we be?
So you're gonna wait
Should
for.
we at least get the lay of the land while we wait?
Well, once the moon is visible, I can use one of my abilities to get a topographical map of everything in the area.
As Caitlin is already pulling up a map to find out what's
Yeah.
going on and where to go.
Yeah. There are readily available maps for the area because of the campgrounds. It is a relatively nice area. You can see that Lake Granby is off to the northwest of where the campgrounds are. And you can see that there are places for cabin stay and also for tent and other forms of spending the night out in nature, like suspended tents, like hammocks and things like that.
This isn't a bad place, actually. It looks really nice, actually, to stay and hike and shit. They got a little town up above, or just a little area for there's a bar and grill, a couple other places. Not bad.
Yep. Less than half an hour away. Nice little situated campground. Boulders down the road too, down the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think they
Yep.
could be using some of these facilities
Probably.
if everything's closed?
Well, yeah, because I don't think I don't think harpies are anything but not humanoid, so therefore shelter would be appropriate. And if they've got cabins and there's like a little town up above it, why not? Why not try and
Suspended? Huh. And they're half bird?
yeah, but you still have arms, still can cook.
But you said there were suspended like hammock kind of things or in trees.
There are places for you to lay out a suspended hammock or suspended tent.
I guess it depends on how domesticated they are.
Or what they're gonna do and how quickly they can make do of what they've got. How long have they been down in Tartarus locked up?
Summerfield kind of thinks for a moment. If they were down there with everyone else for at least 5,000 years.
Well, yeah, I don't see them making mac and cheese anytime soon, but I'm sure they could grab a goat and kill it and flay it.
And
I
Summerfield,
doubt they'd even bother.
Summerfield looks disgusted at your mention of killing goats.
I'm not talking you because there are mountain goats up here. Sorry. I don't mean that
Related.
personally.
It happens. No one thinks of the satyrs when they're around.
I didn't even know you guys were around until I met you. Well, actually, I met the asshole first. You're actually nice to talk to.
I appreciate that.
Ajax was the first satyr I've ever met. You're the second.
They're more like Ajax.
Oh God, is there classes you could teach to be more like you?
No,
Oh, that's a pity.
no.
I don't know. Ajax is genuine. Everything's out in
He's-
the open.
Yeah, but you know what? I'd prefer somebody with a little bit more
Ajax
finesse.
is a wretch with no discernible decorum or ability to make life better in any way, shape, or form.
That's the most important thing, decorum.
What's wrong with decorum?
Ajax has fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sure, I just
Yes,
I like
so
somebody I'm
do-
working with information.
And Summerfield will show you the back of the pictures of the women's faces and show you the number scale that Ajax put on there.
What is that?
And it's his,
yeah,
the
A rating
scale.
system.
That is the scale that Ajax has put on each of the faces.
Okay.
Now, mind
Why?
you, I will defend him and say that the number is based on the entire body of the creature in question. So don't let the number fool you as to just the face.
Okay. What about her personality?
Oh, Ajax doesn't care about that.
Clearly. Nice to know.
he's got a lot of
Great.
rough edges.
Sandpaper wouldn't even smooth them over, dear.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the only way to truly sustain a legend or give something power is to continue speaking its name, and thus I will stop discussing Ajax at this time.
Oh, but you said his name again.
Yeah,
And that is the last I shall do of it.
He's so powerful right now.
so powerful.
I seriously doubt it. He wouldn't know what to do with it.
I know what he'd do with it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Cut to Ajax just doing the risky business dance in Nico's apartment. Just slides into frame. Wearing tidy whities who nobody knows how he got.
We don't want to know. Some mysteries do not need to be solved.
All right. So I guess we'll camp out for a couple hours,
Okay.
stake out the place, and then make our assault at dusk.
Yeah. And Summerfield frolics for most of that. It's like he likes being in nature. It revitalizes him. But once the sun starts to go down, what is the method of approach?
So Nico has perfect pitch, which means she has refined hearing.
Mhm.
So she is going to have one of her lost the word thing you put in your ear.
The
Earplug?
plug.
The earplug, yeah. Out to kind of listen to see if she can hear anything that shouldn't be there. Ready
Okay.
to stuff it back in if she.
Yeah. There is a moment where you think you hear something. Give me a perception and alertness roll.
Okay. Ooh, That is one of my epics.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, you got 2 epic perception.
yeah. Alertness or awareness?
Awareness. Sorry.
Yeah. Different games.
Yep.
All right. So that is 7.
Yeah. With 2 automatic successes already.
So 5 total.
Okay. There's a moment where you hear something, like there's the gentlest of rustling, like something small leaving a tree, and then you'll hear a screech, like a peregrine falcon or like an eagle, off in the distance.
Okay.
But this time of year, there would be no peregrine falcons out here, or eagles.
Okay. So that's likely what we're looking for.
Probably.
So that direction.
Well, I'm going to look up in the general where it's dusk. I assuming we can start to see the moons beginning to come out.
It's more daylight than nighttime right now. There's still a little vestige of that kind of light of day still clinging to the sky, but it is dark enough that you could probably call on your ability.
Then I would like to do that, which just costs a point of legend,
Ooh.
and it allows me to see in a 3-mile radius
Jesus.
topographical map. And and it doesn't say I can't use other perception-based things.
Mhm.
So I would like to also use some magic and cast the spell of the unlidded eye, which will let me look down and see sources of magic or legend in the area.
Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you. That's a willpower point and a legend point.
Yeah. You will suddenly you'll close your eyes and kind of call on the power of the moon. And there's this vision that just kind of starts to knit itself out from your center point. You'll see kind of mounds rising and falling of snow. You'll see the little grooves from where Ajax Summerfield has done a little choir of snow angels. And as your vision kind of traces out along the icy, almost flat line of the lake, you'll get to the opposite end and you will see this small mound of what looks like bumpy sand or snow at first, and then you will see one of the harpies land on top of it, and as the snow shifts away, you will see that there's carcasses of human remains.
I believe I've found the nest.
And you will see that there's 4 of them.
Currently 4 of them. Other side of the lake. They've erected a mound, a nest, using the snow to hide it from aerial view, but they're present.
How many total were there in the pictures?
8 different distinct pictures.
So half of them are there at the nest now.
The other half might be turning around and putting a trap up.
Well, hopefully they don't know to do that.
I mean,
Well, don't worry.
I can see for miles right now, and the only presences I detect are them and us.
Yeah, well, I got a little gift, so if somebody tries to ambush us, I'll know it. before they
Oh,
do
me
it.
too.
It's very handy to have.
As a cop? Yeah.
So, how do we want to play this?
And what's our object? Are we killing or are we turning around to subdue and shackle? I mean, what was the direction that was given?
Look at Summerford.
Summerfield looks up. He's like, I don't believe that capture was on the table, but I assume that it always is. The only one that I was worried, that I was warned about, is their coven leader, Dream, I believe is how you pronounce their name. They are the most dangerous of the harpies, from what I understand.
Do you know which one is that?
No.
Of the pictures?
No.
Hey.
None of them have any kind of jewelry, so I would imagine that if they do have a high priestess, that they would be the one kind of regaled in the most jewels or clothing.
Ajax mentioned that you watched a ritual. Wouldn't it have been the one leading the ritual?
You would imagine, but with a coven, we don't know if they would need the high priestess to run every ritual, and
Which means there's at least possibly 9. But a coven is usually 12 or 13, depending on your beliefs, right?
correct. Also, they were all naked when they did the ritual, so we didn't question any of it.
So then the High Priestess is the most likely to have relevant information if we want to interrogate. I do not believe the rest of the creatures are a necessity to keep breathing.
Okay. Understood.
Diego, does that ability you have to stare at someone and get them to not look away work on mythical creatures as well as mortals?
Sometimes, not always, and it's also only one person.
Well, hopefully it will stand us in good stead here.
I imagine the more powerful they are, the harder it is.
Yeah, the more they're on my footing, the harder it is.
Well, let's see about it then.
Yep. You start climbing, kind of trudging along.
Are we going stealthy or?
That was my question.
I don't know how stealthy we can be traveling through the snow up and around mountains while aerial creatures are present, but I'm game for trying. I can tell you that after looking at this, zombies are not terribly stealthy.
They sure ain't.
Nope.
We couldn't keep them in their jar until we needed them?
It takes time.
I figured it takes time to pull them out, and seeing as we'd be outnumbered 2-1, having some present might not be the worst idea.
A terrible argument.
I'm fine with being a distraction. My men and I can approach directly, and you can all approach from cover if you want. I imagine it'll take more than 6 seconds for me to be torn to ribbons.
Right. No pressure. Yeah, I can stealth a little bit and try and see if I can get a sniping position in.
Okay. You are stealthing. Make a dex and stealth roll for me, please.
You got
Yep.
it.
Let's see.
I am opposite of stealthing.
Yeah, you don't need to roll anything.
I'll try to stay hidden between the trees, like when we proceed to get close.
Okay. Dex and stealth.
That's. I have two circles in stealth. I have one of the red X's in Dex. So
That's
roll
it.
2 die.
That is there right now. So the X should be an automatic success.
Yep.
So you
And
have so you have 3 decks. So that's going to be 3 dice. You have one stealth.
one stealth. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's going to be 4 dice, and anything 7 or higher counts as a success, and you already have 1 automatically. So
Let's do it.
I do order my minions. If I attempt to walk past them, they are to hold me back and restrain me.
okay.
Because while the dead are not affected by a siren song, I don't know about me.
Correct.
So
Okay.
There's a lovely lady with a pretty voice. I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Caitlin, 5, and Nico,
6.
6. Yeah. Yeah, you come up, and you will notice that Rutherford and his 2 zombies, they're not stealthing. They're crunching along, and Summerfield's with them. He's just kind of like waddling behind them in the back, humming. And the 3 of you will kind of find different routes to take in between the trees and keep a good distance, very softly, matching crunches, or kind of digging your foot in very softly into the snow. And you will see that the one on top of the mound has what looks to be an arm in her hands, and is just tearing flesh out when she kind of stops. Has this chunk of meat sticking out of her mouth, and she turns and squawks, and you'll see 3 more kind of come up out of the snow and just shake themselves off. Rutherford, this is the first time you've seen harpies. You know the stories. They're half bird, half women. The thing that they don't tell you is just how monstrous they are once you're in line of sight of them. The one eating the arm looks to be about 10 feet tall.
nice. Sweet.
Yeah. It is this Rhea Ripley type of body with these bird wings that extend out from skin flaps that go down all the way to about the wrist. And then her fingertips end these jagged looking claws. And the raptor feet that she has just kind of grab every bit of the mound that's underneath her and the earth as she climbs down. The other 3 that are with her look to be smaller, maybe about 9 feet tall, but they're still monstrous creatures. They are definitely these things that would strike fear into the old world person, and they might strike fear to anybody now. Excuse me. And you see them all kind of like tilting their heads back and forth, kind of looking your direction. And there is this. What?
I call out in Greek.
Mhm.
Is the campground closed? I can't seem to find the staff. My friends and I have been walking for quite some time and are very tired. Very weary. Do you happen to know where they might be?
You see that they all kind of like stand shoulder to shoulder with each other. They kind of start to just kind of like look back and forth and look over at you, and you will notice that all of them kind of stop at the same time and just focus their gaze on you. Can you make a willpower roll for me?
Yeah, knew that was coming.
Meanwhile, while he's doing that,
Mhm.
Caitlin's turn around, set up, and I will start doing trick aim, trick shooter.
All right, so you're
Just so I
gonna
can
aim.
say I'm
We have a lot of
already.
the same setup. Anyway.
All right, so you're
So
gonna
I'm
aim.
already.
For
aim.
how many ticks are you gonna aim?
I want to say, you know what? We'll start off with 2,
Okay.
just because he's talking and wasting, and he's buying us time to get set up.
All right, how many
So I'm
ticks
gonna
is,
utilize it.
how many ticks is Nico going to use?
You can use up to 3, right?
Yep.
And you get extra dice for that, or
Yes.
how's that? Okay. Yeah, she's gonna do 2 also.
Okay.
Although before she does that, she's actually gonna look around and see if she can see if there's any others coming.
Okay. Make a perception and
She might
awareness
be a
roll.
little behind. Yeah. So she might be a little behind on
Yep.
the aiming.
What'd you get, Rutherford?
Perception. What was my perception? It was like
3?
4
4.
successes.
okay.
There's a moment where the world melts away, and you're surrounded by these scents, these sounds that are very familiar to you. What is the happiest moment Rutherford has had in his life?
My sister's wedding,
Hmm.
when I gave her the papyrus scroll.
What is a scent that you remember from that day?
Cardamom, because they're her favorite dessert, and she insisted the wedding cake had a cardamom-based frosting.
Okay. What sound sticks out to you from that day?
It's not so much as so smiling isn't a sound per se, but if you said that you could hear someone smiling when they talked,
Yeah.
you would know what I was talking about. And that's kind of what he mostly associates with it. That sound of voices speaking with people, and people legitimately happy to be talking.
So you're suddenly brought back to this memory, and slowly pieces of it start to rip away, like chunks out of a Rubik's cube. And you manage to hold on to the papyrus, sister, the smell, the kind of sound of her smiling at the thanks that she's giving you. But everything else around this memory has been stolen. And you feel a little fatigued.
I am being attacked with a supernatural thing that's fucking with my brain.
You sure are.
This has started rage mode, because you don't fuck with a man's brain when it's the only thing he's got.
Rage
So,
engaged.
Yeah, I immediately I'll pop the legend point, and the rest of the staff comes out of the jar.
Ooh.
We're
Okay.
gonna have poultry tonight.
Okay. Nico does not see anyone else other than these four.
Okay.
For Caitlin, go ahead and make your attack roll. What is the trick shot you're trying to make?
Oh, for what I'm going to do is if they're all lined up in a row,
Mhm.
trick shot's going to do is she's going to just fire right at the first one and see how far that bullet goes.
Okay.
Right in the head. And it's going to be sideways, so it'll just go from head to head to head to head, depending on how far it goes.
We'll see.
We'll add, how many more dice do I add to this?
4.
I've added 4. I had 4 more dice?
Yep.
Fuck me, yes.
Yep. Let's have Nico go ahead and roll their attack roll at the same time, just to
Okay.
get it out of the way.
All right. So I also add 4.
What's your trick
And-
shot look like?
I don't suppose there's anything I could ricochet off, like to get.
There's plenty.
Okay.
There's trees. There's the mound of bones they were eating from.
Could I line it up so that I could get multiple of them by doing a ricochet?
It's gonna be rough. Every extra one that you want to get involved is gonna add 3 to your threshold.
She took my idea. I don't want to do the same thing. So let's see.
I mean, her idea isn't really a trick shot. It's just shooting several people in a line.
Yeah.
It worked for Deadpool.
I mean, if that is the extent of your imagination for trick shot, then it is.
No,
No.
but I'm thinking systematically.
I'm just saying. The simpler your trick is, the less legend you're gonna get. So just remember that the next time you ask, does that earn me any legend?
Right.
Fine.
So, all right.
Yeah.
She'll try the ricochet and
Okay.
try to get 2 of the smaller ones.
Done. So that you'll
That's a
need
fuck ton of dice.
yeah. So that you'll get 2 extra dice to your attack roll. And
Just 2?
no, 4.
I thought it was. I thought it was.
Yeah, because you aimed for 2 ticks. So that means that anything above 4 successes is what's gonna counter your damage.
Okay. And I get a +1 on my gun, right?
Or-
Attack modifier. That's another die.
Yeah,
So that's 15
if
dice.
it has accuracy, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What did Caitlin get?
Okay, I have a question for zeros. Can I re-roll the zeros?
No, they count as 2 successes.
Perfect. So then I've got shit.
That's a lot of
3,
dice.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And remember to count
Plus-
your epic dexterity.
Oh,
Plus 2, that's 11.
Okay. So.
okay. So 2, 4,
4,
5, 6,
10.
7, 8,
You could get all
9,
4 of them
10.
and only have 1 threshold over. Since
I also got 11.
Since you wanted to shoot through everyone.
Let's be effective. Let's be effective and efficient on it. I mean, shit.
So what is the damage that your gun does?
Mine?
No,
Or-
Caitlin's.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, I gotta go find it.
So you said you got 11, Nico?
Yeah.
You were only trying to ricochet off of 2 of them, so that's 4 minus 11 means that you have 7 threshold. So add 7 to the damage of your gun. How much is that?
Damage is +3 for me.
12.
So 4. 12 total?
My damage is 5.
God damn. Okay.
It's a big gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only have 3.
So you did 4 to all of them. So Caitlin's gunshot will graze all of them. It'll hit like the center of mass between their arms and wings, so you'll see some feathers kind of explode outward. But the shot that Nico takes just kind of bounces off a random body part in the mound, goes through one of them, hits a tree, goes back through the second one, and both of them just collapse. 12 damage is, well, they took a total of 16 damage between the 2 of you, and they only have a certain amount of lethal soak. So yeah, they're both dead. 2 of the small ones are down. So there's 1 small one and the large one left. What does the other one do?
2 loud gunshots.
Yep. What does the other one do? He's the other one that was hidden.
I kind of wanted to read for signs of like more the other 4 joining.
Mhm.
I wanted to kind of, I don't know if that's possible with subliminal warning.
Yeah. This is not a trap. This is just the 4 of them.
Okay.
The other members of the coven are not here.
Yeah. So I think I want to like rush the large one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want
She's
to.
bleeding.
Yeah, I want to take the obsidian dagger.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to do lethal. Like I'm trying to keep someone alive. But yeah, I have a knife, so
Yeah.
it's +1 accuracy, +3 lethal,
Okay.
-1
So
defense, speed 3.
so it's gonna be your dexterity and your melee +1 for its accuracy.
Melee 2, dexterity 3, so 5 dice.
Yep.
And
Melee
plus
1.
1 for, so 6 dice.
Yeah.
Right?
4 dice.
4 dice. Wait. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, because
3 dexterity?
you're counting the gray one, which just erases the die,
So 3 dexterity
and 1 melee. No, 2 melee. Sorry.
2 melee. So
Yeah, so it's 5 dice. 5 dice.
And the +1 for accuracy is just there, right?
Is no +1 is an extra dice. So that's 6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
6. I had
The epic
had it.
dexterity counts as an automatic success already.
Successes are 7 and above.
7 and above.
I have 3 successes.
Okay. Plus your dexterity, or not counting your epic.
It counts the epic, yeah.
It counts the epic. All right. So 3 total. You're gonna have 2 threshold. You said you're 3 damage.
1 accuracy +3 lethal.
+3 lethal. So you've got 2 over. That's 5. Counting her soak. Yeah, you stab into her. You don't kill her. There is this. The moment that your hand, like your knife goes up to the hilt, and the moment that your hand touches her skin, it feels almost like a shark skin. Like there's a little bit of grit to it. And so your knife wounds, but it doesn't do what you imagine it should be doing to something that's alive. And
Stab harder.
Rutherford, what do you want to do with your squad of boys with a Z?
They're going to ensure that she doesn't do that to me ever again. The big one.
I want you to know that you are unleashing your mummified boys on somebody that looks like Rhea Ripley. I know how much you like your wrestling. Your wrestling.
I do, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Can you hurt Big Mommy?
Yes, my minions can hurt just about anybody with enough time.
All right.
So so there's still one more left aside from the big one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna have two of them go towards the smaller one.
Okay.
The other three will go towards the big one.
Okay.
I originally planned to take prisoners, but after the mental violation,
Yep.
I tell my staff to bring me their wings.
Okay.
I don't like these guys at all. They're mean.
Yeah.
Do
All
you
right.
do that out loud so we hear that?
Yes,
No.
he
Yeah.
says it very, very coldly. Very, you could tell he's been shaken by something
Mhm.
that he doesn't like.
What if they know about the Thunderbolt? It's the only reason, right?
Yeah.
It's
And
possible this might not kill them.
you'll see
Maybe.
the zombies just descend on the two harpies. And between their wounds and the overwhelming number, like you'll hear the small one scream first, as her wings are ripped out, and then you'll hear Rhea Ripley kind of scream out as well as her wings are ripped out, and slowly you will see the life kind of drain out of both of them. You defeated the four harpies, guys. Look at you doing
I know that
things.
tactically this was a mistake. I know it was a bad player move. However, in character, the Harpies found the one trigger for his
Hmm.
his anger, and that is the erosion of his mental faculties.
This is what my character would do with extra steps.
Yeah. I find it funny that this is, to me, it is the scene from Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Holt goes off on the dentist and he's just outside drinking water with Peralta. He's just like, who would have known? That would have been a trigger for me.
That's accurate.
But
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen you riled up before.
They were stripping away my memories.
Oh,
mm,
oh, that's not good.
That
That explains it.
They went after the last time I was truly happy, and they
Mood.
began to take it from me.
okay, that sucks.
but that show, and Summerfield kind of pipes up like that shows that Mnemosyne has granted them more of her abilities than more dangerous than Ajax and I imagined.
Yes, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with the wings, but we have them.
Trophies.
Your zombies are just holding them up, just like the bullhead,
Yep.
just offering it up
Yep.
to you, kneeling in front of you.
Wow.
So kind of looks like they've been hunting people. Yay.
They're just wearing work overalls, masks, and gloves, and they're just covered in harpy blood.
Yo,
I mean,
hands out like the meme with the sword is like, I brought you a sub.
Yeah. I brought
well, I
you
mean,
this.
the site is closed for renovations.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking around to see
Mhm.
like what like rituals of the occult are kind of going on here before we disrupted this beautiful get
Before yeah. There doesn't look like this was used for rituals in any way, shape, or form. Like, there are no cabins nearby. This isn't even like a designated tenting area. Like, this is just off to the side, like trail hike, a hiking trail. Looks to be relatively like well visited. Like, there's a footpath that has been carved out. If you clear away some of the snow, you'll see that there's even kind of rocks laid out to denote the path. Excuse me. But there's maybe 6 adult bodies. in different states of having been eaten.
It's tasteful, but can we find any identification or anything?
There's a small mound of dirt that looks like that's where they were burying any of the information relating to the humans. They all look like citizens of Boulder.
Okay, so not rangers or anything like that, just
No.
regular campers.
Yep.
Okay. How long does it look like the bodies have been here?
It's rough to tell. Do you have medicine?
Uh,
I have medicine. I can roll.
1 point.
Yeah, well, make an intelligence and medicine check. 3 dice. That's not that bad.
3
You
dice.
don't mind if I do it too, do you?
Oh
No,
no, I
go
do
ahead.
not.
Well, given the temperature with slow decomposition, it would obviously add time to any initial projections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin,
No,
Caitlin
I
has 6
failed.
dice. Okay. Did you roll any ones?
I'm just a know-it-all.
Mm-mm.
I rolled a
Okay.
3.
Okay. Given the temperature, it doesn't look like any of the bodies have been here more than a month. From what meat there is still on some of them, the clothing that some of them still have, like it's less than a month, less than 2 months for sure.
What I can do is I can call down to Denver Police Department or to the Boulder Police Department and tell them that there was a wild animal attack and there's several body parts down here. They might want to turn around and clean up.
You might want to wait a day on that.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm going to do it this second.
Okay.
It's that I can. She gestures to the harpy bodies. I can't explain this.
I have an idea. It might be considered ghastly to some, but I would believe this is a perfect opportunity for us to send a message to the rest of the coven.
Do we think the large harpy is the coven? We don't know, right? There's no way.
I mean, she was larger. She could have been one of the priestesses.
What kind of message do you want to send?
Well, you two, mount the wings over there on that part of the mound. Drag the bodies over yonder, and then I grab a large branch and I write out in a variation of Greek using the oldest of the Greek alphabets I'm familiar with. Your Titan has failed you. Disperse, or else we will come for the rest of you.
Okay.
And I write it big enough where it can be seen from the air.
Yeah.
This,
Mood.
well, if they see it, Lord knows that if this was their leader, they'll see their leader has been rent asunder. The bodies are clearly here. And they will hopefully disperse and not resume their covenly ways.
Yeah.
Um,
Gonna put money
so-
on that.
So I think like Diego would be walking around and he'd be
$5.
looking for like a broken branch that indicates like a flight pattern, or maybe like a place where they would take a running start to fly in a direction, just as like a form of tracking.
Sure. Let me have you go ahead and roll your perception.
Survival?
And survival, yeah.
That is a really good idea.
That's 4 dice. And you got 1 epic perception, boy.
Yeah, that's 3 successes.
3 successes.
Yeah.
There is an area off to the side that has a circular kind of concave dip in the snow. Excuse me. And you can see that there's enough of an opening above the branches to kind of match that as a takeoff point. Looks like
This is
everybody
where
was taking off from there in particular.
this is where they come and go from this direction. If we seek to try to follow it this time.
Even the branches on the trees in the circular area are clear of snow and drift.
At least we know what direction they're in.
Yeah, Nico's going to try the hearing thing again and see if she can hear anything more.
Now that you've killed the harpies, it's eerily quiet.
Okay.
You can hear the wind kind of dancing across the ice, the frozen over lake. There's a sensation of peace. And then you hear Summerfield humming.
Is he off key?
No. He's not Ajax.
Fair.
It seems like staters come in two flavors, Ajax or Summerfield. And Summerfield is more of the traditional, I play a pan flute, I seduce you with intelligence and poetry. And Ajax is like, look at my dick, it's amazing.
I get that.
You know.
I'd rather take Summerfield any day of the week.
But no, he's humming Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And he's actually raising and lowering his pitch accordingly.
All right. Yeah, it sounds clear.
Yep.
So what, we want to wait a day or two before we come back to see if they've got the message?
That's what I'm thinking. Give them at least a day, 2 days maximum.
I mean,
I wonder if there's any caves nearby.
is the message just meant to make them leave?
Because we were looking for caves, right?
I just hate the idea of them just going somewhere else and resuming the killing somewhere distant, far away from us. I guess there's other sounds around.
Well, was
Not a problem.
she specific on she wanted them all dead, or just half of them dead?
I was under the impression we wanted the coven dispersed and the harpies to go to ground.
No, dead or caught, I think was the ask, but and the one who might have had information seems to have been torn apart. So
Or others.
Yeah, but you got four more. You got four more
And
out
shot. Don't forget shot.
yes, but we specifically didn't kill that one. But okay.
Yeah. And Summerfield does kind of like look around and is like, I can go back to Mount Olympus and ask for clarification if you'd like.
I'm not as
I mean, with
concerned
four
about,
dead.
I'm game to kill the rest of them.
eventually kill, but I'm not as concerned about Hera's directive as I am about what these, from my recollection, what they would know about the people who released them with the Thunderbolt. Right? That's the other thing that we were on. So ask what they know, and I don't. I have no more obligation to keep them alive after. Killing is fine.
Question is,
Well-
can we actually talk to them? I mean, they fucked with Fourth's head.
Well, the other concern I've had since meeting them face to face is that they tend to speak a variation of Raptor as opposed to a definitive language.
Well,
Oh.
it is what it is.
And
Does that even speak Raptor?
Not yet. I've been working on refining my ability to speak Falcon, but it's not quite up to conversational level.
That's for the bird.
Seriously?
Sass.
Yes.
I'm legitimately asking because I didn't know that was a language.
Yes, you can. Falconers have been communicating with falcons for centuries. It's
Yes, but
similar
you're not
theory.
a falcon.
So
Well, I haven't got a falcon. I haven't been able
While
to
they're-
properly practice yet.
Okay.
while they're doing this, Nico's looking at that depression that
Mhm.
you said was there.
Yep.
Is there anything about it? Does it like? Is there anything more to it?
What are you trying to ascertain from the?
Like, is there something underneath it, or
Oh. Make a perception and awareness roll if you want to disrupt it. You want to dig down.
that's 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good die roll for Nico. 2 epic.
Ooh, that was a
That's-
good roll.
That's crazy.
Okay, so she has 2, 4, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.
7. Underneath the depression, you will see that there are other feathers. They look like they've molted over. It looks like this was a nest of some kind. And you will see that there is actually a bit of earth that has been disturbed and covered over, and this whole area has kind of been shaped in such a way to hide, but there are 3 harpy bodies that have been buried under the earth.
They kill their own?
Well, it looks like they have their arms from their wrist up to their elbow cut open, and bled on both arms, and then from ear to ear.
By a claw or a weapon?
It looks like a weapon. It's too clean to be a claw.
Hey, guys.
Sacrifices.
Beautiful.
More
work.
sacrifices? Maybe that's why they were released?
I guess like the fun question is, was this done here, or like was this done somewhere else and they were moved here to hide the bodies? Is there any way to tell that?
It doesn't look like they were killed here because there's no blood splatter. There's no evidence of any of that having been done here. Even with the earth kind of shifted around and the bodies have been buried, there would be some kind of telltale sign of that being done here, like the scent of iron or copper, the kind of glaze to the earth around there. It doesn't have that here. This looks like this
The
was done somewhere
bodies-
else and buried here.
The human bodies, were they missing any organs?
It's
I mean, I
tou-
know they were eaten, but
it's tough to tell because none of the
A lot of
insides
them were eaten.
were left over.
yeah, okay.
But it doesn't look like any of the insides of the harpies were sacrificed. This looks like it was
Okay.
just taken for blood. Which should frighten Diego.
Yeah. Looks like our people do.
Is the one we took to being the priestess, does it have any objects that seem to resonate with supernatural or magical energy?
On her, no. There is a patch of skin, kind of brand, that looks like it is this symbol. It looks like a claw was dug in and then drawn in a circle, with the claw kind of coming out as the circle is completed, almost like a symbol for a rune in werewolf. But there's 6 marks kind of coming out of the circle like a sun.
Oh.
I go through my occult and ritualistic Rolodex to see the significance of those particular markings.
Given
Citing
their
ancient.
given their just at a spot off the top of your head, given their history, it looks like the sun for the symbol for Apollo.
So these were linked to Apollo at some point. The mutilation here has some occult significance. Still has a little bit of resonance left to it.
The cuts are different than claw marks on the ones that are hidden.
Mhm.
What type of weapon looks like it did that?
It looks surgical. The cuts are too clean to have been a weapon of any kind. It looks like they were done with a surgical blade.
Did it look like they struggled?
No, they're no defensive marks.
Sorry.
Three here, 4 dead, 1 left. 1 left, maybe. What a
That
too.
might be the only one we'll know.
Just what does a lone harpy do without a coven?
How are harpies made?
Creations of the gods.
When a daddy harpy and a mommy harpy love each other very much.
I've
They
never
take
heard
a
of a male
bird, they
harper.
take a human, they stick them together. It's a thing in our culture.
As with many of the Greek abominations, it started as a curse.
Yeah, Summerfield nods. They were cursed by Zeus.
So how do you make more harpies?
You would have to ask a harpy, I would imagine, but there would be some kind of
Yes.
ritual involved.
And you would need to be able to speak Harpy, which I, as stated, believe is a sub-dialect of Raptor.
Well, here's the thing. There's 3 dead. We just killed 4. Who's to say that the lead one isn't turning around and grabbing or trying to entrance more people to come in to do this curse or ritual or whatever to get more harpies?
I think that's a possibility.
Because I never heard of a male harpy.
There are none.
Thank you. So if you can't do it the natural way, let's find the unnatural way.
By the direct opposite sensation of that idea, what if this high priestess is looking to remove her curse and become human again?
Wouldn't she have wanted the other harpies with her to help her with that? Because then she
Maybe.
could uncurse them all.
3 of them might have already gone towards helping her with that. And I point at the dead ones.
You get a lot from sacrifice.
And they
How
seem
much do
to
you
have
get from it?
accepted it, so self-sacrifice is even better, isn't it?
What would they do with the blood?
You said they were in the water washing themselves?
Yes. When Ajax and I came upon them, they were washing themselves. the 3 in the ground don't match any of the pictures they took.
So they were dead before you
So
found
there's more.
them.
Yeah, but the 4 that you took out have pictures associated with them,
Okay. So there's at least 4 more.
and they're on the low end of Ajax's scale. They're like from 5 to 7.
Does this seem like a ritual to Mnemosyne to reverse this curse? For a
And how
single
pissed
harpy,
off
for a single harpy coven later?
and how
Something
pissed
else
off would
altogether.
Mnemosyne be?
That adds up to 12 if we don't have the leader in the pictures.
Summerfield, do you think there's anything worth looking at the lake where they bathed?
I mean, it's worth going into the mountains for it if you think there's something there for you. The issue is I don't know what this represents. Normally, a harpy would hunt to reproduce. This is outside their norm, as it were.
Well, they're probably influenced by the people who released them.
And if you've been boxed up for, I don't know, 5,000 years, I don't think you would have gone with the norm after getting released.
You may have a point.
I have many points. She just gestures to her bag.
I don't know how to take that.
I come armed. Always. More than just guns.
So, next course of action then should be what?
Well, you
Do we
guys
want
got
to go
anything
check out the site?
I mean, we can go up into them mountains.
We're
Go up
here.
in them to hills. Yep.
You have a perfectly great abandoned campground to come back to.
Not wrong. And I haven't informed anyone yet, so I know the cops won't be here.
My skills of tracking are somewhat lacking, especially aerial creatures in a mountain range, so I don't know if wandering around looking for the one remaining one that we highly suspect is out there is going to be fruitful. I think that where we know that they will return to this place at some point, I think there might be some merit to waiting here. Especially if they're going to come investigate the carnage that was left behind.
5 more.
What?
There are 5 more. And Summerfield knows where they did that ritual. So that's not wandering around.
If he is confident that he can get us there, then let's go.
It's on the other side of the mountain. Shouldn't be too difficult.
If I was a harpy
Okay.
after seeing what was left on the ground, I might not come back here.
There's a cabin on the way that we can spend the night at.
Sounds great.
Okay. Well, lead the way.
And as you head to the cabin for the evening, I think this is a good point to call it for tonight. So,
Sounds good.
thank you guys for coming back for episode 3 of our series. I'm excited to see how this mystery continues to unfold and what threads are tied to each other. So, as always, let me give you guys a chance to plug whatever you're into. We'll start with the boys in the bottom. Rutherford, what are you up to? Where can people find you online if you want to be found?
Lately, I'm not up to much of anything. I'm in Ravnos's L5R game, having a lot of fun doing that. Otherwise, I'm just on Blue Sky ranting about the awful state of things and pro wrestling. So, yeah. Oh, and I'm looking forward to diving into the Oblivion remaster. That's the other thing going on in my life.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Diego, what do you got going on, and where can we find you online if you want to be found?
Oh, I don't do much online stuff. Just been watching an anime called Freean. That's it.
Yeah, welcome to the family, my friend.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic anime.
Yeah.
Nico, what are you up to? Where can we find you online if you want to be found?
Well, I make dice. I sell them on Etsy. This is one of the ones that I have. It's a D6 with a fire emblem on the 6. So great for fireball dice. And I also make custom dice. As Rutherford is holding up right now, I made him a set.
Yep.
So
They are super awesome.
Yeah. They look nice when they're not bathed in that blue light. But the link is up in our Twitch chat if you're watching live. And Caitlin, what are you up to? Where can we find you online if you want to be found?
Now you can find me on all the socials because I live on the internet. It makes my life easier. You'll find me not only here, because I'll be back here on Thursday. You also find me on McStabbers, not only being a guest star somewhere on somebody's stream on Wednesday, but I also run a Vampire 5. I can't say words anymore. Vampire 5 edition over on McStabbers on Saturday nights. And during the weekends, I stream on my own channel where we are doing St. Jude's for the next, month and a half. So we are making St. Jude's dice of happy dumpster fires. And if you know me, usually we have the frown upside down to suck all the yuck away. But for St. Jude's, we are doing that. And I'm a St. Jude's ambassador, and we are trying to raise at least 500. So fingers are crossed.
Nice. I'm excited to see how many cupcakes you stuff in your mouth.
No, it's tough. I put them on my face. Every $500,
sorry,
I do a cupcake smash in my face.
Gotcha.
They're sugar scrubs.
Yeah, of course. But thank you guys for coming back for episode 3, to both the cast and the audience. I hope you guys are having a good time. As always, please remember that it is okay to not be okay. And if you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube later, to get the help that you need. Because there are people out there who want to help you, who are trained to help you. And just having to take that first step is the scariest part of that. If you don't do well with phone calls or text messages, there's also findahelpline.com. So you can find the resources in the area nearest you, because, like I said, we are not an island, and there are people out there who want to help you. So just know that if you need help, there are people out there that you can reach out to and kind of get a helping hand with. So just don't be afraid to take that first step. As always, you can find us here on Mondays for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Tuesdays are for Scion, like you saw tonight, or Werewolf of the Wild West. Thursdays are for Legend of the Five Rings or 7th Sea. And you can catch me on Wednesdays right now at McStabber Studios, where I've infiltrated all their World Darkness splats. And sometimes I show up on Fridays for their Kansas City game, where I get to play the most handsome Baron in all of Kansas City, Rurik Rakosi. So there's plenty of places to find me or my associates. So please do kind of check them all out. And as always, thank you guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you when we see you. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.